Welcome back to the ECL online training series and lesson number 9, Functions and Scoping. In this lesson we will examine ECL functions and the concept of definition scoping. First, any ECL definition can be defined to accept passed parameters or arguments, making it an ECL function. This does not change the definition's basic type, it just makes it more flexible. Now the defined parameters always appear in parentheses following the ECL definition name. Multiple parameter definitions are separated by commas. Here's the full format of any ECL function, also known as a parameter definition. The required parameter name, as shown in the top line, names the parameter passed for use in the expression. The optional value type defaults to integer if it's omitted, and actually that's an integer 8 or an 8-byte integer. And the optional default value makes the parameter omittable. So let's look at some examples of ECL functions. First, we look at passing a simple integer value as a parameter. So at the top we have an ECL definition, a value definition called num25, defined as 25. And the add5 function actually has a parameter named x, and x also has a default value of 10. Now the significance of this function is apparent when you look at numResult1 and numResult2. NumResult1 is defined as the add5 function, passing it the num25 definition, which was again 25. So the result of this function is 25 plus 5, or 30. Now numResult2 did not pass a parameter, so the add5 function uses the default value of 10. 10 plus 5, our result is 15. Now functions can even pass a data set as a parameter. There's a lot of ECL code that's shown here that we haven't even discussed yet. There's record structures and data sets, and then sets using set operators, and a statement called output which gives us the result. But it's important to note though that in the filtered dataset function you'll see that there is a dataset statement there which designates that yes, we can use an ECL definition to pass an entire dataset as a parameter. So we'll be going back to this example as we learn more and more about ECL in upcoming lessons. Now finally, let's talk about ECL scoping, and by definition, scoping refers to a definition's visibility. So once again, global is an ECL definition with the export keyword, and it's available through its own module and in any other module that imports the name. So again, there's a handshaking now in the latest versions of ECL where any definition that you define that you want to share with other parts of your repository, or with other developers that have access to your repository, you first must export that definition, and then the person that needs to import the definition must explicitly use an ECL language statement called import. In the module scope, we have a definition that uses a shared keyword which designates that within a module structure, that definition is available to all other exported definitions that may want to use it. So we'll talk more about the shared definition in use within a module. Finally, local. It's any ECL definition that is not using the export or shared keyword. And again, it's only available until it encounters the first export or shared definition. So in the example shown here, we have a definition called num5, and num5 can be used in the first export that it encounters, which is the numTotal definition. You see the use of num5 plus 10 plus a state count. Now below that, num5 no longer has scope and can no longer be used. So in this lesson we've covered functions, ECL functions, and passing parameters, and also ECL scoping. That concludes this lesson. Let's move on to lesson 10 when you're ready, and we'll talk about ECL qualifications and actions. Thank you.